Hey guys, Dr. Hall. It's about to be Thanksgiving. Hallelujah. A little break for the kids and us, but I do want to touch real quickly on grading. It's one of the areas again leading to back to assessment, and I talked about that before. I think one of the areas that we don't get a lot of development in our programs are two very important places in assessment and in grading. How do you know that kids have learned? How do you know that they've mastered the content? And I really encourage you to reflect on your grading practices, because grading devastates some children and breaks their confidence to the point that they never recover. If I could magically wave a wand and make everything about mastery, I would. If it was about mastering the standard and just moving on to the next, that's what our students really need. However, there's this beautiful grading system, A through F, and they have to be labeled. And so, unfortunately, that can create a stigma. And so, how do we get over that? One, really knowing your students, and that means multiple data points, not just grades in the classroom. If you have a child, if you're a social studies teacher, you're an ELA teacher, and you have a kid in sixth grade at an 1100 Lexile, that child has a very high readability. That means they should be able to perform in your classroom. If they're not, you got to ask yourself why and how do I get them there? You can't just say, oh, he's not motivated. Oh, he doesn't do his daily work. Well, why doesn't he? And we just can't give up on students, because this is our future. And so looking at those multiple data points, also just constantly reflecting. If you get to the summative assessment and half of your kids are failing, then you got to ask yourself, was that really a kid problem or is that really a me problem? Because 50% of your kids should not fail an assessment. 80% should be getting it or more. And if they didn't get it, how did you not know as you checked throughout the formative assessments leading up to the summative assessments? You should have been guiding your instruction off those formative assessments to meet the needs, so that when they did take the summative, they're ready. And sometimes we mess up. You also should be able to gauge off of the students. And so if your very best high achieving student fails, you gotta talk to that kid, figure out what's going on, because if your best student didn't get it, chances are your worst student didn't get it either, and chances are ones in the middle didn't as well. And so what do? Remember that it's all about a team effort. So if you have kids who aren't doing it, and motivation is something that we really have to work on in society today, is make sure that you get the parents on board. Make sure that they know. Parents want their kids to succeed, so get them involved. Don't let their child just continue to sit there not doing. Get your administration involved. Get other team teachers involved. If you see a pattern of history where the child was successful, then talk to that teacher. How did you get him to do? We have to look at every route to make sure our students are mastering the work, and that's the key word, that they're mastering what you're teaching. It's not just punitive grading. It's not just completion grading. There's a place for completion, but that they're really truly getting the feedback to whether or not they're learning the material and retaining it. So just a tidbit on grading. I'll talk more about it later. Have a great break.